Finished my bachelor's in biology and decided to come to Auburn for graduate school. Didn't really know much about the Southeast and came to this property. Learned that Flat Shoals Creek would be one of the places where we would be doing research. We were studying a riverine sport fish called the shoal bass, which many people know, and the whole consensus was to understand their migration patterns, and this large shoal complex was assumed to be where they were spawning, where they were spending seasonal time. I got here in January of 2016, a little over 10 years ago, and I believe I met Mr. Johnson the first day I came to the property. Showed me around, introduced himself, told me a little bit about his history in the area, and then particularly on this piece of land. He talked, right away about how he opens his property in the spring for people to come and view the shoal lilies and just get this experience. It struck me and still strikes me to this day how Mr. Johnson is the perfect example of someone who was a steward of the land, not just his property, but the watershed in total. And he knew the value of shared experiences and what that does for each individual. Mr. Johnson donated the land to the Nature Conservancy sometime in the last year so that it remains protected. And Michael Merrill now allows access to the shoals in the spring when the lilies are blooming.
For many years, Stephen has protected this and recognized the uniqueness of this property, which has been in his family since probably the 1840s, and he has generously donated perhaps 400 acres plus or minus to the Nature Conservancy that surrounds this whole area. So it's a very special place, and I'm thrilled to be living in his cabin now. And what a gift to go through his old papers and to see the breadth of his knowledge. And his early conservation work is today enjoyed by many people, particularly Cumberland Island, where he went and spoke to Congress. Also the Cohutta Wilderness.
A whole bunch of us, we all went up to Washington from all over the Southeast. It was an omnibus wilderness bill. So they had all these different wilderness areas they were going to approve. So I was assigned the Cohutta Wilderness. So I made a scrapbook of the pictures. And so I gave the scrapbook to the chairman of the committee and said, one picture is worth 1,000 words, so here's, 50,000 words. We want the Cohutta protected. And it's the second largest national forest wilderness area in the East.
So typically by the last weekend of April and through the month of May, the shoal spider lilies are blooming. So Stephen invited the public, various nature groups or garden clubs, the Sierra Club, the Nature Conservancy, some of the local church groups would all come and convene on weekends in May. A couple 100-yard walk down to the shoals where the lilies were blooming, enjoy the flowers, and then he would serve cookies and lemonade on his porch and tell stories and talk about the importance of preserving nature, and would have out little flyers. So I'm continuing that tradition of inviting the public in on weekends in May and serving up lemonade and cookies in honor of Stephen.
I didn't realize the impact it was going to have on me and my life, and I have moved away numerous times and always find myself coming back, and it feels like part of my identity at this point. And I just had this sense of no matter where I go or what I do, I will always feel a sense of belonging here.